All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Bruce, the Epic Experiment. We're back. It's another deck tech. It's been a while. It's been about a month since I last posted, but I've been busy. I was working at a summer camp. So if you saw me on Instagram just a little while ago, I posted that what I was up to. Bottom line, I was working with some campers and working with staff, working on training. So I'm excited to be back and back into Magic and back to some of the things I love. Tonight we're talking about the type of deck that your opponents hate to play against. There's nothing redeeming about this deck. It's not fun. It's not fun for your opponents. It's not fast. Sometimes it's just there to make everything into a slog, and this is the deck to do it. This is Nevinyrral Urborg Tyrant. So 3 white, blue, black for a 3/6 legendary creature zombie wizard. Hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. When Nevinyrral Urborg Tyrant enters the battlefield, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token for each creature that died this turn. When Nevinyrral dies, you may pay 1. When you do, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. So this is Nevinyrral's disc on a creature. And this means that what you're playing is you're playing board wipe tribal. You are going to wipe the board as often as you can with this particular deck, and Nevinyrral is going to be your key to do it. Now, I've seen this built as a zombie deck. This is not a zombie deck. What I looked at this, and while there is some zombie stuff to it, this is mostly me asking myself, what does this not blow up? What does this not kill that I can exploit? Well, it doesn't do anything to planeswalkers. So this is my Esper Superfriends deck, where I am playing a whole bunch of planeswalkers. But we'll get to those in a bit. We've got ourselves some other things to talk about first. Let's talk about the ramp first. Let's talk about the ramp package. Because you're in Esper, you're struggling with your ramp a little bit because you don't have access to all the great toys that Green's got. So, how do we keep up with the manas? Well, we've got ourselves a Sol Ring. Can't go wrong with Sol Ring. Everyone loves one. We've got a Felwar Stone. Another one, 2 mana, tap to make a mana, add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Chances are in a 4-person pod, that's not going to be a problem. You'll be able to make whatever you need with that. We've got a Midnight Clock. I like this one because at first it is a 3 mana rock that taps for a blue, but then as it picks up counters, eventually it's going to draw you a whole bunch of cards, which is exactly what you want to do. We've got a Talisman of Dominance. Another just very useful card. We've got an Arcane Signet. This is Sol Ring's little brother and big help. And then we've got a Dimir Signet. Useful, efficient ramp spells. And then, of course, it wouldn't be complete without a Smothering Tithe. This would be a game changer, so just highlight it here as a thing. You don't need to play this Smothering Tithe. I have one. I put it in this list. You don't need to run it. You can take it out very easily, but it is in this list. All right, so this makes ourselves a whole bunch of mana. What next? Let's talk about our creature package, because our creature package is interesting because what you're looking for is you're looking for creatures that are going to be difficult for your opponents to remove or that don't die to Nevinyrral very readily. So, for instance, we have Sten Paranoid Partisan, so a white and a blue for a 2/2. Legendary creature, human wizard. As Sten Paranoid Partisan enters the battlefield, choose a card type other than creature or land. Spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. So I'm going to pick Planeswalker in most cases because I would like to make my Planeswalkers cheaper. White, blue, and a 1. Exile Sten, return to the battlefield under his owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So if Nevinyrral is going to pop and you're going to use it to wipe the board, you can use Sten to blink itself and return it so that it doesn't die, and you get to the continued effect of the card. We have a Mangara the Diplomat. So 3 and a white for 2/4 legendary creature, human cleric with lifelink. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or a planeswalker you control, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. So this is a way to try and manage the abuse my planeswalkers take. In Commander, planeswalkers take terrible abuse because they can just be attacked randomly by stuff. If your opponents are attacking them and they attack you with two things, Mangara can draw you a card, maybe draw you a piece of interaction, help you wipe the table clear so that you can make sure that your planeswalkers get to stick around long enough to do the thing. We have an Edgar. Charmed Groom, 2 white black for a 4/4 legendary creature vampire noble. Other vampires you control get +1/+1. When Edgar Charmed Groom dies, return to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. And on the flip side of Edgar, you get Edgar Markov's Coffins, legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white and black vampire creature token with lifelink and put a bloodline counter on Edgar Markov's Coffin. Then if there are 3 or more bloodline counters on it, remove those counters and transform it. So this makes this rather sticky and hard for your opponents or hard for it to die. So if Nevinyrral pops, Edgar will die and then come back transformed and start making your tokens again. So you have blockers, you have things to chump with, you can things to try and protect your planeswalkers. Surprisingly useful card. Then we have this one. Oh boy. Narfi Betrayer King. So 3 blue, black for a 4/3 legendary snow creature, zombie wizard. Other snow and zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. And then 3 snow, return Narfi Betrayer King from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So because Nevinyrral makes zombies, this has some mild zombie synergies where the zombies are now 3/3s instead of 2/2s. But really, this is tricky to kill because of the fact that unless you exile it, you can use your snowlands to return it to the battlefield. We'll talk about where the snowlands figure into this shortly, because that's another whole wrinkle to this one. We have a Nevinyrral, Primal Tide, 5 blue, 7/7, legendary creature, Elder Dinosaur. It can't be countered. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, you draw a card. And then discard 3 cards, exile Nevinyrral, return to the battlefield tapped, under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So again, Nevinyrral is going to pop, you discard 3 cards, you blink it, return it, you still have a Nevinyrral. We have a Flux Channeler. This doesn't have any sort of particular synergy with the staying from dying, but 2 and a blue. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate. If I've got a whole bunch of planeswalkers, I would like to proliferate as much as I can, thank you. Flux Channeler is the ticket. Then we have Valgavoth Terror Eater. So 6 black, 9/9 legendary creature, Elder Demon. Flying lifelink, wards, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. If a card you didn't control will be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. During your turn, you may play cards exiled with Valgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost. This is an interesting thing that I think is going to be a useful piece against some graveyards. If I can keep it from dying terribly, we will be laughing. So that's the plan. All right. Now I mentioned snow lands, and so over here you might notice I've got a bunch of snow lands. This deck was running actually 20 snow lands in it. I think 20 or 21 snow lands for Narfi, but you're also going to get some other ancillary benefits. So you've got some other cool things. So you have a Dead of Winter. So that's a Toxic Deluge for the amount of snow you have. We have Merit Lodge's Slumber. So this is every time you would play a snow permanent, you get to scry 1. Scry 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more snow permanents, sacrifice Merit Lodge's Slumber. If you do, create Merit Lodge, a legendary 20/20 black avatar creature token with flying and indestructible. So that token makes it really useful in a deck. We have Blood on the Snow, another matter that cares about snow permanents, to try and make sure that if you do lose a creature, you can get it back, right? And then last but not least, we have On Thin Ice, which is like a Chained to the Rocks sort of effect, but for snowlands. So super efficient way of removing things, kind of like a Swords to Plowshares in this list, because you have so many of them in the list. All right. Let's talk about how we're going to draw some cards. We're going to draw some cards. All right, well, we got a Ristic Study. Nobody likes this card because it makes you ask, will you pay the 1? And then people get frustrated with you. But it's an excellent way to draw cards. In a deck that's kind of struggling to draw cards, this is exactly what you want. It is also a game changer, so note that. We've got a Quick Study. So this is going to be an instant spell, draw 2 cards. We have a Secret Rendezvous. You and target opponent each draw 3 cards. We have a Windfall. Windfall is going to stick around here for a second. We'll talk about it in a second. We have a Mystic Remora, another useful thing that's going to help us draw cards. We've got a Limdol's Vault. So black and blue for an instant. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. As many times as you choose, you may pay 1 life, put those cards on the bottom of your library in any order, then look at the top 5 cards of your library. Then shuffle and put the last cards you looked at this way on top of your library. So you can go and use this repeatedly to go find the pieces you're looking for to go and move your deck forward. It's a pretty neat card. It's an old-fashioned card. It's a secret lair version of it. We have Drawn from Dreams. So this is 2 blue sorcery. Look at the top 7 cards. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom. And then we have Teferi's Ageless Insight. 2 blue. If you draw a card, except for the first one you draw in each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead. Okay, so we're going to draw enough cards. Let's talk about how we're going to keep the board clear, because sometimes, as good as Nevinyrral is, Nevinyrral can't keep everybody clear. So let's talk about what we're going to do. All right, we have a pile of interactions. You can see right now we got a pile of them. So we have Feed the Swarm. All right, targeted removal makes something go boom. All right, we have Mortify. Again, another piece of targeted removal, destroy target creature or enchantment. All right, we've got, I like this one. This is Dam. So Dam can be a piece of targeted removal, but you can use the overload cost to be a board wipe. Super good. We have Winds of Abandon. This can also play the same role as a board wipe or as a piece of targeted removal. So it's a Path to Exile effect on the front half, and then if you use the overload, it is exiling the whole thing. We have a Dismantling Blow to make sure we can get rid of somebody's problematic enchantment or artifact. We have a Void Rend. Just kill it dead. All right. So as you can see, we've got enough targeted ways to get rid of things. A couple of them double as board wipes, but we have lots of ways to make sure things stay dead. We have an Insidious Will. We have a Trial and Error. We have a Negate, a Narcissus Removal, and a Dovin's Veto as interaction counterspells on the stack to try and make sure that we don't end up dying to stuff. Notice I'm not playing counterspell. I think actually the blue cost is a little rough in this deck, although Narcissus Reversal does have it. I'm trying to actively avoid the blue cost because it makes it a little bit hard to cast them too much. But those are useful cards to help make sure that your opponents don't get you on the stack. And then, I forgot one. I forgot Stubborn Denial. Sorry, that one too. But then we also have a Supreme Vertical Cyclonic Rill and a Cleansing Nova. I like Cleansing Nova because it makes sure that all those nasty enchantments disappear instead of creatures if you need to. Supreme Verdict just can't be countered, so it's just a surefire way. And Psych Rift, and there's yet another game changer right there. Okay, let's come back to Nevinyrral. Nevinyrral is a super useful card because no one wants to touch him. If you can start attacking with him, nobody's really interested in trying to see if you want to get him killed. So they will probably avoid attacking into you. They will likely do all sorts of stuff to try and make sure that if you attack, that they don't block it. It's a surprisingly useful thing. That means, though, it doesn't always die. So how do I make sure it dies? I want to be in control of it in some instances. So one way, I have a Staff of Completion. So this is a 3-mana artifact with 5 modes on it. The top one is what I care about most. Pay 1 life, destroy target permanent you own. So I can target Nevinyrral, blow up the table, everybody dies. Okay. Pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. Okay, you don't really care. Pay 3 life, proliferate. With Planeswalkers, very useful. So Staff of Completion is good. Pay 4 life, draw a card, and then 5, untap it. Well, we may not get to that, but anyway. We also have a Ashnod's Altar and a Transmigrant Altar, which are sacrifice outlets. So I can sacrifice a creature to make mana, and that's what I want to do. I want to be able to control when I sacrifice Nevinyrral to make sure that I can blow up the table when I want to blow up the table. People are going to be wise to the Ashnod's Altar, and they're going to kill it. This one might survive, so you have the 2 of them in the deck. So 3 sacrifice outlets. And when it dies, you're going to have a Malakir Rebirth to make sure that it can come back, and you're going to be able to get value out of the zombies coming back into play. All right. The other alternative is that you sack things on at the beginning of your turn to the altar, for instance, make a bunch of mana, and then use the mana to recast it. But sometimes the Malakir Rebirth is the easiest and cheapest option. Then we have a win condition in Revel in Riches. 5 and black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, create a colorless treasure artifact token with sacrifice this mega mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. Since you're blowing up all the things already, Revel in Riches seems like a pretty good effect. Okay, let's talk about the Planeswalkers now. What am I playing? I'm playing a whole bunch of these guys. So, first off, Dakkon Shadowslayer. So, white, black, blue. Legendary Planeswalker Dakkon. Dakkon Shadowslayer enters the battlefield with the number of loyalty counters on him equal to the number of lands you control. So, presumably 3 at the minimum, but it could be quite a bit more. +1 Surveil, -3 exile target creature, so yet more targeted removal, and -6 you put an artifact card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. Okay, my artifacts are of use, but they're not crazy, so Dakkon is pretty interesting. Karn the Great Creator, 4 mana, 5 loyalty, legendary Planeswalker Karn. Activated abilities of artifacts your opponents control can't be activated. So there's Sol Rings, there are all that stuff can't be used. +1 until your next turn, up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature token with power. Don't care. -2, you may choose an artifact card you own from outside the game. Again, not relevant. So this is mostly for the static to shut off people's artifacts. We have Tezzeret, Betrayer of Flesh, 2 blue for the 4 loyalty Planeswalker Tezzeret. The first activated ability of an artifact you control each turn costs 2 less to activate. +1, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. -2, target artifact becomes an artifact creature. If it isn't a vehicle, it has base power and toughness 4/4. And -6, you get an emblem with whenever an artifact you control becomes tapped, draw a card. All right, useful cards. We have, let's go with Liliana, Dreadhorde General. 4 black for a 6 loyalty Planeswalker Liliana. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. +1, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. -4, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. This is probably your Nevinyrral. And then -9, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. Very good card in this list. Looking forward to putting it to work next time. Elspeth Sun's Champion, one of my all-time favorites. 4 white for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker. +1, put 3/+1/+1 white soldier creature tokens on the battlefield. -3, destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. So yet another board wipe. And you get an emblem with creatures you control, you get +2/+2, and have flying for a -7. This is just going to flood the board, protect your Planeswalkers, and then you're going to wipe the board away and kill all their big things. It's going to be perfect. We've got a Gideon Blackblade, because I have a soft spot for Gideon. So 1 white for a 4 loyalty legendary Planeswalker Gideon. As long as your turn, the Gideon is a 4/4 human soldier, and with an indestructible that's still a Planeswalker. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt to Gideon during your turn. +1, up to another target creature you control gains Vigilance, Lifelink, and Indestructible until end of turn. -6, exile target non-land permanent. Okay. We have a Ajani Steadfast. I like this one. So this is 3 and a white for 4 loyalty Ajani Planeswalker. Until end of turn, up to 1 target creature gets +1/+1, gains First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. -2, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each Planeswalker you control. -7, you get an emblem with, if it's a source you could deal damage to you or a Planeswalker you control, prevent all but 1 of that damage. I'm really using this for this middle ability to put extra loyalty counters on my Planeswalkers, but hey, we could sometimes put counter stuff on other things. Mordenkainen, 4 blue for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker. +2, draw 2 cards and put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library. -2, create a blue dog illusion creature token with this creature's power and toughness are equal to twice the number of cards in your hand. And -10, exchange your hand in the library, then shuffle, you get an emblem with you have no maximum hand size. So you're really doing this to draw 2 cards and then put a card on the bottom of your library. But if you can get it to the point where you can pop off and draw the whole deck, cool. Teferi, Master of Time, 2 blue for 3 loyalty Planeswalker Teferi. You may activate loyalty abilities of Teferi, Master of Time, on a player's turn. Anytime you can cast an instant. +1, draw a card, then discard. -3, target creature you don't control faces out. And -10, take 2 extra turns after this one. The fact that this is like I can use this like I can have an instant is kind of crazy and is super awesome. We have a Kaya the Inexorable, 3 black white for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. +1, put a ghost form creature counter on target non-token creature. It gains when this creature dies or is put into exile, return to the battle to return to his owner's hand and create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. -3, exile target non-land permanent. And -7, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary spell from your hand, from your graveyard, or from among cards you own in exile without paying its mana cost. So we are playing this +1 to put ghost form counters on Nevinyrral, so it goes return to our hand, so we don't have to pay the commander tax. Tezzeret, Artifice Master, 3 blue for a 5 loyalty planeswalker, +1, put a 1/1 Thopter, 0, draw a card. If you control 3 or more artifacts, draw 2. -9, you get an emblem at the beginning of your end step, search your library for a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. And then we have Teferi Time Raveler, which nobody likes because they can't cast counterspells to interact with you, and then you can bounce their things and still draw cards. And then we still have a Narset that goes with their Windfall. This is game changer number 4, and Narset is a problem. If you can pull this off and they all have to mill, all have to shuffle up their decks, then you are laughing a lot, and your opponents all hate you. So that's a real thing. Now, we've got Plenty of Planeswalkers. Oath of Teferi allows me to activate them twice. And then, since they tend to die with alarming regularity, we have Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. It says, return all legendary permanent cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you can return all your Planeswalkers to the battlefield and put them to good use. Now, folks, as you may know, there's 4 game changers in this list, which technically puts it bracket 4. I don't think there's a bracket 4 list because it's not looking to close a game out very quickly. It is very slow. It is very pedantic. It is something that if you're looking to play this sort of deck, it's because you like to play control, and you can adjust the control package to suit your meta. This is sort of geared the way my meta plays with like a bunch of creatures and board wipes are a bit of a problem. But this game is looking to take the game into the long stages of the game and make it really hard for your opponents to fight through your stuff. So keep that in mind. If you want to build it, by all means. It's not cheap. I think this was like $550 or something like that. So I know that there are lots of decks out there that are way more, but for a deck that's not super explosive, $550 is a sizable investment, and you may not want to make it. But just telling you that full transparency out there for everyone. List is in the show notes. You can check it all out for yourself and see what I put in the list. You're more than welcome to follow along. If you like the show and you want to see or hear more, please follow the link in the show notes for all of our back episodes. We will be getting back to producing more regular content as we go here in the next little bit. But in the meantime, we've got lots of old episodes that you can listen about all sorts of cool things, so please check them out. And last but not least, please like and subscribe. Every little bit helps. We're looking to try and get to 100 followers by the time we get to the end of September. I know that's 5 weeks away, but that feels like a realistic goal if we can have a little bit of help. So fingers crossed, you help us out, folks. But once again, that's Bruce with the Epic Experiment Podcast signing off, saying thank you very much, and we'll catch you next time.